Hi all, welcome to another chess24 Banter Blitz. It's 11:30, okay, and taking on all challenges. Come and challenge me. First, let's look at the discount code screen. So you can get 15% off premium membership if you use this voucher code Kingscrusher. So you can challenge me and other streamers, including recently Magnus Carlsen has joined the streamers you can challenge. So great opportunities there for fame if you can beat Magnus Carlsen. Okay, so we're going to have a look now at the challenge list. And the first challenge here is always blame the mouse. Okay, and I'm going to just mute that over there. Hi there, I'll start with C4 this morning. And symmetrical English opening. I hope audio and visual is okay. If you want to let me know there, just make sure. Let's play, I think, E3 and knight G E2. This is a pretty standard plan. Let's play for D4 here. I'm wondering about the tempo gain at D5. This gives a bit of a hole on D5 here. Perhaps, yeah, he has actually suppressed my D4. It's put me off it. Maybe F4 now instead in this position. Okay, so F4. And maybe King H2, Rook B1, A3 and B4. Just check audio visual okay, I hope. So Rook B1, A3, B4 could be a plan. On E4, D3 maybe, E takes, Queen takes. That bishop would be blunted by the pawn on F5. So I'm not sure E4 would be that good to play. I'll play B3 for the moment. Maybe bishop B2, D4. Let's have a look at that as a pawn sack. Knight B5 after for knight takes D4, but then D5. Let's play D5 here. Okay, so D3 now. Am I getting in trouble? At least the knights are holding each other. Okay, knight B5 or knight A4. Hitting C5. Okay, I've been a bit provocative here. I'm gonna get closer to the screen. It sort of magnifies the board a bit. So F takes for knight F4 is maybe an idea. F takes for knight F4. The knight, I'm not sure he wants to do an exchange sack. It looks good though to do an exchange sack. He hasn't done it. Knight F4, so hitting E6. Okay, which way to take? Maybe on this occasion E takes is okay, just so that D4 remains occupied by a pawn and not a piece. I think my position is reasonable here. So bishop D2 or A3, maybe A3 just to rule out knight B4 for a moment. I'm liking queen F3, bishop D2 at some point. B4 still looks tempting to play B4 here. Looks like a natural expansion. This gives me surely an opportunity for C5 and queen B3 check. Let's see, C5 and queen B3 check. Yeah, there'll be B5 though. If I played B5 myself for bishop B4, that might be more logical here, giving my bishop that diagonal. How about the E3 square neglected though? Am I inviting something for E3 there? I wonder. Knight D8. Also my king's going to be vulnerable. Okay, I think I shouldn't mind about that. There's always queen F3. This looks alright. Takes, and he check queen F3. I would imagine. I can play queen F3 here, taking up that diagonal again. So I think I've got a bit of pressure. Right, now, is bishop takes C5 worth it or not? Or knight takes? I wonder. Yeah, I think for b6, this looks as though it might have some interest to play b6, and then let's see, knight takes for knight d5. This might be interesting. I'm not really sure. Knight d5 taking and check. Do I actually get anything? Okay, there's knight d5 here, hitting the queen. So I can play rook b6 takes and knight e7 to win material, potentially. So rook b6 here. Alright, there's queen d2. I think my second row probably needs attention. Okay. But I'm thinking rook b6 next. So just addressing that threat, queen d2. I think rook b6 next. What happens after that? If taking with the rook, there's knight e7. Okay, here. If I take and get the queens off, is that anything at all of interest? There is queen b7 as well, rook b8. If I get the queens off, b4's weak, rook d8, rook takes, rook takes. There is rook a1, goes back to e7. Yeah. Can I retain advantage any other way? I don't know actually. My rooks, maybe it's worth doing this. Okay. I'm hoping my rooks go to the 7th rank at least quickly. So I'm on that 7th rank before my opponent. If I can just double rooks on the 7th. Okay, now that rook can't move because of rook a8. Checkmating. Can't leave that second rank. I'm going to double rooks, but I need somewhere with my king and not involving here because there's check. I think not going back because then he'd get the other rook in and threaten mate. So what about over here? Or g4, just to give my king some opportunity for king g3, h4, g5, f6. So I want to play doubling rooks and get my king to f6 potentially. If I double rooks, check. King g3, rook e3, king h4, h6. There is g takes, trying to get the h5 square after g takes, king h5. Okay, this gives my king a run for it. Or does it? Can I play f5 here? Or am I getting in trouble? f5 for f6, f5, g takes, f4, h6. I think this looks reasonably dangerous. I've also got rook g2 potential. Okay, so yeah, my king's a bit exposed. This rook g2, rook h5, rook g2 doesn't do much. King f4 might be better. Okay, my king's kind of an attacking piece potentially. I just don't want to get mated. If I go over here, actually no, I think this looks as though there's always checks. Don't think my king's doing anything. Is it particularly? I can threaten checkmate for a laugh. Yes. How would I progress here? Fascinating. It's not easy, is it? To win this. There's any tricks to play for? There's any tricks to play for. But what tricks in particular? Okay, this one over here. Keep a bridge for my king. And he's got check, king e4. This trick, rook h5. Oh. it keeps checking. There's another one over here though. Keeps checking. Well played. Very solid. Very good. Yep. That was, yeah, knight b4 seemed really good. Yeah, the tension went from the position. Well played. Okay. Second game, strong opponent here as well. 2-5-3-9. So Berlensis. All right. Play e5. Play a King's Engine here. Okay, so a5. b6, and I don't know if knight c5 is possible there. I wonder if taking, okay, with the knight, maybe, to keep a piece on e5. Otherwise his pawns seem as though they're rolling with c5. Yeah, I'll try this. Trying to undermine c3. Would he actually take that? Probably he does. Maybe f4 then with some sort of attack potential. So f4 coming up. I'm hoping there's some attack potential here with knight g6, g4, f3, or g4, yeah, knight g6, g4, f3. Alright, can I just get this g file without giving e5 to white on the plate? So knight g6, queen h4, that sort of thing. Trying to get that sort of thing in. With queen h4 and then bishop g4 and then f3. Queen h4. Okay, well, this h file could be good anyway. There's a pawn to target there, and there's also still g4, f3. I don't mind the queens coming off here particularly. I think there's knight b5, rook f7, d6 could be a pain, I guess. C takes, knight takes d6. Rook g7. If I get in g4 and f3, I think I'll be happy here. Let's have a look at this knight b5 with g4, knight c7. There's a pawn sack. Okay. Alright, f3 is now threatened. That looks good. There's pressure on f3 and h3 here. Alright, I could play f3. I don't know how risky that is. Maybe the king comes up later. I could build up here with king g6 rook here and then build up on the h file. Try and make f3 a bit more effective. Yeah, I'm just wondering if I give that g3 square, it might be double-edged to play f3. So I'm thinking king g6, rook h8. Well, actually I can use both rooks with rook f7 and the other one here. So then I've got f3, bishop h1, where would the knight go? Do I have something on h3 building up? Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm threatening knight takes and bishop takes h3 immediately. He's defended that. Can I play g4? Because I think there's knight f3 mating potentially, isn't there? Double check mating. Yeah, that's a double check mating. So I'm threatening g3 now. I think this is getting really dangerous, this attack. Or am I being optimistic? I don't know. Let's say king g1. Okay, here, isn't this just double check and mating? I think it is. Okay. Thanks for the game. Exciting one there. All right, on to the next challenge. Perilous. Hi there. Perilous. Okay. E5. No, don't pre-move. I was about to pre-move. That would have been embarrassing to lose a piece in the opening. Okay. Oh, what am I doing, man? The pre-moves. So if takes queen h4, this is a kind of trap line which has scored me hundreds of wins on bullet chess. So this was my friend Paul Georgie once showed me this. Well, beat me with it actually quite a lot. So it is kind of, when I say a trap line, it's 3 pieces for the knight, but it's good. It's good to get the 3 pawns for the knight after king d2. It's not g3 queen e4, but they're here. So it's 3 pawns for a knight, which hasn't been accepted in this position. I could play perhaps queen d4 check. This is a new one for me, this position. Why don't I just take and then knight e7, knight e5, knight takes d5. Maybe that's simple. Just to hit these guys, still be a pawn up. I'm sure I've equalized here, at least. Should I take that centre pawn? There's bishop c4. Maybe this is safer, because I don't want bishop c4 looking at f7. Okay, so d6 with tempo. There is bishop b5 check. That could be dangerous. How about the knights protect each other? And then maybe g6. Yeah, I'm wondering d6 bishop. Am I really? Yeah, it's really tricky. Huh? What about bishop d6? That's a radical way of developing without d6 for a moment. I know I'm blocking in my bishop. But no, do I want to do that? I don't think I did want to do that. The knight's away. Okay, so d6 might be more natural now to play if I ever got the chance. Okay, which I'm not. Okay, so d6. d6 if I can get it in. There is knight b5. Knight b5 is also dangerous. Can I play a6 for a moment? Now d6. Okay, I can give myself a g file for rook g8. There's this for h4, maybe. How about bishop d7 or h4? h4? So where can this knight go? Maybe knight d4 hits g4, and there's knight f3. So knight f3 check, going to e5 maybe one day, or knight g5 hits e4 and h3. If h3 drops, g4 drops. So knight takes h3 next, maybe. For bishop takes g4. Okay, the exchange has been given with, so knight takes e4. I'll put this bishop away. Bishop d7 for rook e8. Okay. Put the king in the center. Is that knight stranded? I hope the knight's a bit stranded. Not really. Okay. I'm wanting to do this to give myself some center pawns. And rook f8 potentially. It's a bit radical. It is a bit radical. Maybe it's crazy. Maybe it's a crazy thing to do. I'm going to regret it. Maybe. In fact, he's getting the knight out on f6. That isn't entirely clever. Can I get something going here? At least another pawn. Or rook a2. Alright, so these knights are pretty good. Can I take on b2? Am I getting mated or something? Take on b2. Okay, I don't mind. I've got armada of pawns here. Start pushing them. b3 for c2, trying to get piece back. Right, there's this for bishop f6 with that pinned knight. Can I get a piece back that way? Bishop f6. Right, push through again. There's bishop e7, I hope. Or is it too late? Can't do anything with these pawns at the moment. Rook e3 for h3. I think these pawns are really dangerous. Kind of blockade. Bishop g7. If I can get bishop g7, that's a fortunate blockade for a moment. There's rook e3 then. Rook e3 here. Just in time blockade. Just about. So I'm rook e3 now. Still rook e3 for d3. There's c2. And b3. This isn't working out very well, is it? I seem to be losing all my pawns. There's rook d3 though. If maybe there's rook d3 coming out of knight d3. I didn't mean to lose all these pawns. Alright, doesn't that help me? Well, the king's cut off. Let's go around my rook. bit worrying. All of those pawns. Oh man, well played, well played. Oh, that was a real challenge. As the challenger says, that was a real challenge. Oh wow, that was a great game. I was doomed with the pawns. Blockading just in time. The bishop blockade was good. It's lucky. A bit lucky there. With the bishop blockade. Okay, I'll still persist with this kind of, or should I? I thought it was comfortable for a moment, this kind of structure earlier. Right. So he's not tempted yet to move his pawn. Alright, I'm going to leave myself with a terribly backward pawn, aren't I? If I played c takes d, although maybe it's something that should be played now. I'll try and play queen c, a sort of shaven England with a thin-chatted bishop in reverse. Although this looks as though I have to counterattack on e5, I believe. Oh, he's going to push me with b5 though. Oh, b5 could be a pain. Do I ever get rook fd1 and f4? No, d4. It's my queen wants to be on a1 here, hypermodern style. Queen b1 to a1, maybe. Hitting e5. Okay, try and do this to hold d3 for a moment. I want to play queen a1, hypermodernish. Ah. Am I too late? d3's dropping, huh? Too late. Maybe it's better to sack the knight and knight c3 to d5. Dropping d3 there, oh, the c5 is vulnerable, but then there's a massive pin, so I'd rather, okay, let's just try this. I don't want a massive pin on the d file necessarily. I'm hoping this has something going for it. I have to find out what. Dear oh dear. Okay, hitting c5. It's passive for me. Okay. I'll take that, get that e file. Some rupture of his pawn chain. F file could be handy for f6, taking away from the center. Might be handy in this particular position. So rook e2 for rook f1. So trying to guard the second rank and put pressure on f6. This little move for queen h7. Maybe knight c3 to e4 is interesting later. King g7, knight c3. Oh, he's giving me another pawn. I'll take h6. I'm on f6. So there's a check. Could take c5, which hits e6. Knight takes c5. There's no rook g5, queen g5, that pin. So knight takes c5 looks good at the moment. Just check it out a bit more. Knight e4 will hit a5. Oh, that's protected, but it hits f6 as well. Maybe the bishop moves bishop d5 check, if rook d5, queen d5 check. So bishop d5 would be another sort of piece. King g7, though maybe it's not that clear. Well, here it's clear knight takes for bishop d5 though. There is a check on c5, king h1. I think this will do for bishop d5. Queen c5, king h1. That rook's pinned there as well. If knight e5, rook e5, there's a pin there as well. Alright, so here. Right. I can play check to win the queen. There's no rook g7, so he takes, I'll take the queen. Yeah, I think now you might wonder why. I just want to show you something about this. The reason I ruled out, let's see what the computer says. Yeah, so this is where it's, I just thought this was easy to go down with knight d2. It was very, very easy to be lost after queen takes, because there's like a pin on that knight. So if I took here, there's always that pin. I think just this, and it just seemed too easy for black. Although apparently this might be the way to go. Apparently it's nearly equal. Okay, I thought I was a bit worried about that default, but maybe bishop c3. Maybe that was the one thing tempted me about knight d2, was I could win c5. Things got better though. He plays bishop takes b3 with that pin. Yeah, no, I thought the pin was too much. So let's have a quick look. So this is a bit, yeah, this, I know this is weird, but somehow I thought this was, I know the computer doesn't agree at all. Sometimes I thought this was a better chance to do this, but the computer doesn't like it. So anyway, swiftly moving on. Okay. Okay, ABBA. Yeah, e5 is a safe sort of pre-move, isn't it? Okay, so knight e7 and then castling. I think this is okay for a moment. The fianchettoed bishop is a responsibility to the dark squares, so one in general needs to be wary about taking it off now. Is there an idea of c5, c4, or f5 here? So f3, white's a little bit solid. Maybe. How about knight g4 then? d5. Is d5 to try and get the f5 square an idea? I wonder. c6 maybe is a way of playing for that f5 square. Ah, okay. Can I not play? Okay, that's a good point. c5 here. Is it too vulnerable? a6. Maybe a6. Try and play for c5 without knight b5. Wonder if he's undoubling the pawns. I do have a light square bishop without a counterpart, so I'm wondering about things based on light squares. I think c5 now might be of interest. Try and win this f5 in some sort of way, advantageous way. So without knight b5 hitting that d6 pawn. Can I play bishop e5 here? Oh, there's rook takes for bishop d4. Is that useful? It might be, because there's queen f8 with a tempo, and there's bishop d6 and there's bishop d6. Okay, leaving him dangerous pawns here. What about I did knight e5? Oh, there might be queen f8 coming up. Okay, what about bishop 5 here? Queen e7 coming up. This, so I can take with a pawn. If queen d7, rook e8, I think I want to take with a pawn, because knight takes, there's queen takes d6. Right. Still, I'll take with the pawn on bishop takes e5. Knight takes, queen takes d6. I don't think there's queen e7, rook e8, because there's always knight g1. There's no back row tactic. I'll take the pawn here. Okay, so I can't play queen e6 without queen c5. Well, I mean, I could do, but does it do anything? Knight d4, does that do anything? Knight takes, e takes. It's always got things like, I think that might be okay for white. Knight d4. Can I not just take on e6 here? Or maybe I should. Should I take on e6 here? Queen b7, knight d4. Okay, I think that's interesting. Somewhat. Knight takes, queen takes knight d4. This f file might be useful. Rook f8 at some point. The pressure on e4 could be handy. Form pawn could be a handy resource. But this c3 coming up. Maybe there's queen g4. It gives me queen g4 as well. So c3, queen g4. Would that be useful for anything in particular? There is g takes as well. Why not just g takes, trying to damage my opponent's king? Safety a bit. Right, so there is queen g4. I would have thought. Knight e6 to f4. Knight e6 to f4. Coming up. Let's say, okay, the rook moves. Alright, it's on f7. Oh, that is dangerous, isn't it? What am I doing? Oh, another weird game. Okay, knight f5 then. Danger. Okay, f4. Can I do f4 with queen g3? I dare. I'll bring the king to the center here. Okay. Queen's off. No, there's knight g5. Okay. Over here. Over here. I'm going to end up dropping the rook. Back here. Maybe back here's better. I don't want to drop the rook. Okay. There's no queen takes e5. There's rook g8. He's giving me rook g8 to play with. Potentially. Oh, just get the queens off. I think he's too short on time, basically. Practical decision. Win a bit of time there with the check. I think it's too little time. Okay. Well played, yeah. I've started to muck up there. Thanks, Cobra. So d6 here. e5 and knight f6. This looks okay. Bishop d7 for queen c8. Or threatening b4 here. Bishop b4. Try and win a pawn. Knight moves. Knight takes e4 as a center pawn. I wonder if a5 is better. He would protect that center pawn. I think this is worth taking, actually. It weakens d5 a bit. So queen takes b4, knight f6. So I'm on d5 now. I should castle. Bishop d7 for rook b8 is interesting as well. I'm not sure white really wants to lose e4 generally. So bishop d7 for rook b8. Looks as though there's nice pressure here. Is there any other way of playing it? Looks nice pressure. Can I do this knight h5, knight e5, knight takes, bishop takes? And this is something magical about that. Okay, let's go for bishop takes h3 though. That prompts king h2, I would imagine. It prompts king h2. It looks fairly dangerous. This piece sack. Okay, so king h2 not being played, so let's not pre-move this, but can I just get rid of these arrows? Nope, stop. Is that... Hang on. I'm just trying to get rid of this arrow. Okay, no, okay. Nope. Oh, this is worrying. Okay. Knight takes, bishop takes, g takes, queen takes with the threat of knight h4. There is potentially something like f. Is there? f4. Knight h4 is still dangerous. I think it's all pretty much too much hassle to deal with in a blitz game to try and defend with great accuracy the king. Basically, g takes. Yeah, I think it's too much. Okay, let's put the bishop back. So knight h5 now to f4. This would blunt the bishop. Right, I can play bishop h4 check here, maybe. Or can I? No, there's g3. Can I play f5? f5. If knight g3, there's bishop h4. What does he do after f5, I wonder? Knight g5, g takes probably. Knight g3 has bishop h4, that nasty pin. Rook h1. Let's imagine rook h1. Isn't that just giving me a piece there? Hang on, that knight is protecting there. I can also... I might as well just take that. Knight f4 looks... it's blunting the queen. Followed by knight f5 to d4. There's also queen coming to a7 potentially. Can I do this for knight d4? Right. So I get my queen over, or I could play queen d8. I could go to a7. I don't know. Yeah, don't know. Queen a7, don't know. It looks interesting. Queen a7. Okay, so queen a7. Oh, it's queen g1. It's a nuisance, isn't it? Queen g1. Now, isn't there like knights? I can get the queens off of queen e3 to be boring. Maybe I should be. Yeah. Get the queens off. I'm threatening knight c2. Knight c2 here. No big deal. Let's go back. Knight h6 just in case the h file is dangerous. Okay, what about playing for e4? Alright, I'm going to get mated like that, I see. So that was pretty dumb, what I just did. I see that now. No, hang on. The knight's on h8. No panic. No panic, Mr. Mannering. E4. E4. Or protect this guy. Protect this guy. G6. So I can play knight h6. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't panic. You make things worse, I think, sometimes than they need to be. So knight h6. Blunting the rooks. Threatening bishop takes g4. E4 might be a move because knight takes almost. Okay, e4 here. Can't I just win this rook at some point? If I could win that rook. Well, is that silly? Hang on. Is that silly? Knight takes here is too dangerous. Okay, is that rook in a bad way? Playing knight here. That rook's kind of stranded, right? So can I play rook here now? I can take this now for a quick thingy. Being greedy with the king. Oh, there was knight f3. Still knight f3. Alright, yeah, a bit scary there. It's good to notice the g6 knight holds h8, otherwise that I don't want a major concession there when there's no threat. Nimzovich said the threat is often stronger than the execution. I think he means like you can give a major, you can get the opponent worried about threats and get them to create major concessions, which is stronger than the actual threat itself sometimes. So the converse, I think, is don't panic. Where you kind of you assess the threats, but you don't panic about them to make things worse. So that was a bit scary, though. So bishop c5 and d6. Okay, so bishop c5 and d6. And then bishop a7 and knight g4. And then maybe h5 and then knight f4. h5, knight f4. This looks like my favourite sort of attacking position with the tango. Knight h4. Now if bishop g5, there's knight takes f3 for queen takes g5. Which is just fallen into. I kind of know this system a bit. Little tricks, horrible tricks to know about. This gives me a winning h file surely after queen h5. It looks like termination time. Rook moves queen h1, checkmate. I won so many games with this tango. It's unbelievable on bullet chess. Especially. Alright, thanks for the game there. Yeah, it's pretty dangerous when that happens. That h-file pawn. Venom. I'll take e4 here for fun. I'll try and go 1970 style against the Sicilian defense or not. Oh. Okay, maybe not. Let's go here. Okay, I'm a bit scared because it's outside of my kind of comfort zone, this opening. Can I use that c-file later? Bishop e3 and rook c1. Could that help? My centre feels as though it's been lent a hand in terms of solidity. Bishop e3 and rook c1. Alright, this is sort of a French defence now, this structure, with that bishop, trying to hem that bishop in, play it like Leela or some neural network with white. What would the neural network do here? I wonder. Well, at least rook c1 is an immediate threat of knight takes d5 though. I think general strategy is containment of the opponent's resources, particularly the b7 bishop, trying to keep it a prisoner in the pawn chain. So how would that happen here? And also the f5 break in theory is the thematic break. In practice, h5 on g4. Unless f5 still works, that hg, f takes, queen takes. D5 is a bit loosened. I don't know. Not with the king on h1, I would have thought. How can I get a massive containment strategy going here with f5 break, the f5 break? How is that possible? I think he hasn't committed his king, so that makes this all a bit trickier. For the moment, maybe queen e1. As though I'm echoing the dark square weaknesses with queen e1. Might be able to go in on the dark squares. There's also a pin on the rook if needed. g4, h5, queen h4. Addressing that. Okay, I need maybe a waiting move. This looks as though it might be interested in maybe this one. As though doubling rooks at some point. No. Can I strengthen the position somehow? I'm curious he's not castling. That's pretty interesting. Okay. Get the thing out of the way maybe for later. A g4 later. g4's been ruled out. I think another strategic motive, forget f5 or whatever, is to exchange off the dark square bishops. So bishop f2 is another kind of strategic motive for bishop h4, generally. I can pin that pawn for a moment. Alright, f5 here for queen h6 might be dangerous. Let's see, where does this... I don't really want that queen on b4. How about bishop e1 for a moment? Alright. Keeping the queen around for f5, is that useful? If I take for knight c3, I look to be getting in trouble now. I don't like this at all now. Yeah, what have I done? I've gone passive. I've just invited all the pieces in. No. This is just horrible. This is just horrible. Okay. Yeah, I seem to be losing a piece because of this pressure. Am I? Okay, hang on. Don't panic. Knight a2 might be a move. Maybe. Don't panic just yet. Okay, knight a2, just about. I was thinking I'm losing a piece. Knight a2 might be the only thing to do, actually, just to stop this pawn. I'm a minute down on the clock as well. Catching up a bit on the clock here, okay. For a moment there, that's really good undermining of c3. Is knight a2 like one of the only moves? I'll check that after. Very difficult. Can I play rook takes? I hope I can. Hang on, maybe knight takes with tempo, because otherwise rook c2. Knight takes with tempo. Because otherwise rook c2. I want to get rid of this pawn without losing a piece, ideally. No, I'm still losing. No, there's no rook c2 just yet. This looks very grovelly indeed. There's bishop. Is there bishop? Hang on, I have to make sure there's knight c1 available to bishop c4 at least. So bishop c4, knight c1. Can I play queen b4? Can I do that? To hit b6? There's still a load of pressure. And there's a potential perpetual check to bail out, maybe, on rook c1, queen d8, queen f6. Do this anyway for queen infiltration somewhere. Keep the pin. Threaten queen e7. Okay, rook c1, queen e7. Gives me check, queen h4 if needed. "35 seconds. Why didn't I get my... And it's got h3 coming up. Can I keep the queen before it's too late? 26 seconds. Crikey. Queen h4, queen g5. Okay, yeah, tough game. Well played. Whoa. Wow. Okay, I gave it my best shot. That's all I can do. Well played. Yeah, I was impressed. The delay of castling and all that. Nothing much routine there. Very good. Very good. I didn't anticipate anything about that game. Starting from the delay of castling, the undermining of c3, I thought I was nearly losing a piece there. And I thought at least be much faster in the endgame stage. So I think that guy's underrated a little bit. So anyway, MGTOW, yeah, but only by about 500 points. But apart from that, everything's great about that game. So MGTOW. Okay. I'll give 10 seconds. 1 elephant, 2 elephant, 3 elephant. Is it around 4 elephants, 5 elephants, 6 elephants, 7 elephants, 8 elephants, 9 elephants, 10 elephants. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, I have to go to the next game, I think. Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, so check, bishop c4. If I castle and just play it from there, this position looks okay. Castle and d6 looks tempting here. There's queen b6 though. Maybe I can arrange d6 around about here without queen check. So there's bishop g5. This looks dangerous with that pin. So there's no queen b6 check here. Bishop g4. Queen g3. Alright, there is that. Okay, there is knight d5 maybe. That keeps that pin. Looks like a nasty pin. Is there g4 coming up? Is there bishop takes and then g4? I hope. No bishop e4 here. Right, get some material at least. Although it is a rook biting the dust. Although, do I get f6? Do I get to play f6 later? Okay, so rook d1 or rook e1 threatens knight e7 check. Rook c2, queen g3 to defend h2. That might be worth a punt. Rook c2. No, there's no rook c2. I'm hallucinating. Now, okay, so I'm threatening knight e7 check. F6 for knight e7. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So the mate threats. Rook takes and then f6. Or queen g2. Queen g2 might be better. Safer. Given that there's no. Okay, queen g2. Just defend h2 for a moment. Then f6 and f6 and knight e7. And there's rook e4 to kind of evict the queen. Rook e4. Maybe then f6 later. There's queen h5, there's bishop d1. Isn't that dangerous? Bishop d1 there. So if the queen has to go back, then maybe f6. I think f6 here is good. And then there's rook h4 and rook takes for queen h3. So rook h4 for rook h6. Okay, so I will be threatening rook h6. Rook d5. I can still play rook h6 for queen h3 there. That's king g5. Oh, well, I'll take it from there. In fact, maybe on rook d5, queen g5, if h5, rook h5, g takes queen g7. I mean, queen g5 is pretty dangerous. Bishop f6, queen h6, queen h7, queen f6, queen h6, queen h7. It only controls h8, not h7. So there's no check with the bishop. So rook takes queen g5. What's black doing there? Rook h8, queen h6, and queen h8. I think queen g5 is also threatened. Maybe it's clearer than the rook sack. Queen g5 here looks clear. So h5, rook h5, queen g7. Okay, so rook h5. And queen h6 for queen g7 or queen h8. There's no checks, thankfully. My king on a light square is pretty safe. Alright, thanks for the game there, Harry. Okay. If I take and bishop c5. So knight f6 and castling. d5. Yeah, okay, I'm taking towards the center. X takes the rook. I think it's okay to do that. Yeah, knight takes looks as though it's going into f4. That's maybe more active than anything else at the moment. Queen g5 coming up. Get this rook in to the attack. Now bishop c6 is also interesting. Rook d5 here for a moment. I can deflect the bishop away from e2 somehow. That would be cool for knight e2. So in other words, not threatening bishop d5 if I played f5 and king h8 to avoid this being check. But my knight's hanging at the moment. So how about g5 for a moment? Was that dumb? I don't know. Hang on, there's knight f6 potentially. I think king h8 and then f5. Alright, it's protecting e2 there. Okay, let's just go here then. Alright, can I use a tempo there? Queen f6. Some sort of... Surely I've got something going. The doubling of the rooks looks okay without contesting with rook e1 if the bishop moves. There's also bishop a6 to think about. Bishop h3 potentially. g4. Maybe g4 is interesting. If knight e4, rook e4 for knight e2 check. I think g4 is interesting. Actually, yeah. Bishop d1. Okay, there's rook e4 here. Oh, hang on, he's on my queen. That's the downer of that. He's on my queen. I could play queen. No. Okay, what about h5 here? Looks dangerous. Or just nudging, controlling the e file. Let's just control that file for a moment. I'm thinking bishop b7 hits g2 anyway. If the bishop moves off the diagonal, bishop b7. If rook e1, h5, h4. I think this protects the pawn anyway. So h4 is now threatened. h4 is on the cards, surely. Knight f1, bishop b7, there's always a check. I can get rid of that check with king g7 to make bishop b7 more effective without the check if needed. Try and keep that pin going on the e file. So in other words, knight f1, king g7, let me unpin anyway. There's knight h5 check, but there's knight takes h5. I don't have to use the rook to lose this one. Knight takes on knight h5, takes, but knight h5, knight takes. This bishop looks to be a tactical target. What's the best way to play this? Rook takes looks comfortable and nice on or queen takes. Any problem with queen takes? F5 square. I think I'll take with the rook. Alright, so there's knight e2 check, and then queen takes f2. That interrupts, and then threatens mate on. That looks good to start off with. So queen takes f2. Threatens queen g1. But also there's bishop b7 here. I think White's lost control of the position here. There's There's also potentially knight g3 for the h file, rook h5 mating. But bishop b7 as well. This looks quite good. This looks pretty simple and strong. Bishop b7, say knight d2, bishop b7, or even h3. If takes, then... But bishop b7 seems simple and strong. Let's play bishop b7, just check it a bit more. And if bishop e4, rook takes, knight g3 at least picks up the queen. So on that note, I think I'll play this. So bishop e4, rook takes, knight g3, hg, queen takes c2. And this is anything stronger. Bishop e4, h3, bishop takes, h takes, bishop takes. There's knight g3, hg, rook h5 is mating. h3 could be stronger. There's no rook g1. Just to check that again, bishop e4, h3, bishop takes. Okay, I think that's winning this. Let's have a look at this bishop e4. This is probably winning. H takes, g3, hg, h5. Let's have a quick look here. There's also this g3. Let's take her. I don't know if that's winning as well. That's dangerous position, yeah. Okay, thanks for the game. Thanks for the game. Ash. Hi there. Okay, I'll move back. So just provoke some weaknesses on the dark squares. So bishop g7, knight f6, castle. Okay, I'll try King's Indian rather than c5. That's sort of Benoni, King's Indian, Benoni. e5, try and get this aggressive pawn chain basically later. Control the c5 square. So knight c5 looks comfortable. Does it? Maybe. Knight h5 for f5 soon. So knight h5, playing f5, but it loosens the knight. Can't do that immediately. I can play queen e8 to hold the knight, then f5 maybe. Maybe that's possible, queen e8, but then c7. I can do this, then this. Yeah, it's a bit long-winded, but I can do that maybe. Here, knight takes for knight f4. If takes knight f4, that one. If takes knight f4. The key thing, I want to get on the f4 while I can, because this will liberate the bishop. If ever that e takes, that liberates the bishop. So knight f4 opens the bishop. That gives me a nice bishop e5, cozy feeling inside. Any knight d4, queen f6. Oh, there's still knight c6 lurking around. Bishop d7 might be handy to make queen f6 more effective without knight c6. So knight d4, bishop d7. Knight d4, bishop d7. Is there also something going on here? Which, then like queen h4 with knight f4, queen g5 with a pin, which is difficult to break out of, isn't it? I should have stuff going on the dark squares, which is weird and wonderful, because there's no opposing dark square bishop. Let's look at again, queen h4, knight f4, queen g5. Yeah, it means I can put pressure quickly on the king's side. Maybe with f5. f5. Right, I just don't see the pin being desirable for white here in this particular position. Going into self-pins is often terminal in Blitz Chess. Yeah, thanks for the game. Yeah. You shouldn't go into self-pins there if you can help it. But especially because I've got the bishop without the counterpart, as a general rule, that's a massive cause for celebration. If you've got a bishop and the opponent hasn't on that colour, you're stronger on that colour. So there should be tactical opportunities on that colour. Okay, so Friedel, thanks. Let's go with c4, I think. Yeah, I covered Magnus Carlsen round 1 game. It's on my YouTube channel, YouTube Kingscrusher channel. It's quite interesting, quite a massive fight there from the 14-year-old who won the Grenk FIDE Open last year. He beat Richard Reports in the last rounds last year, qualified for the Classic this year. So he's only 14 and international master. So I guess the strongest, one of the strongest 14-year-olds, I imagine, in the world. But it was remarkably, from a computer perspective, there were loads of opportunities for equalising, it seems, at least. Okay, a6, right, a6, okay. So if I do this, there's a sort of prophylaxis move to be able to play b3 without losing c3, now that my knight's over here. So bishop e3 for a moment, or f5. I want f5 here. I'm wondering why that has been permitted. I like f5. It gives up the e5 square, but I think there's something to be gained from it in return. The net benefit of f5 here, there's like knight h5 if g takes. Maybe I can extinguish that knight, or knight d5 and then threaten f6. No? Can I get rid of the dark square bishop? Just about. There's no knight f3, otherwise I'd be in trouble there. So bishop h6 or bishop g5. Maybe bishop g5, f6, bishop h6, or bishop h6 immediately. Oh, this gives me potentially the e4 square for a knight. I think I want to. Do I want to do it like that? To give e4 for my pieces, e4. Maybe king h1 to get out of this knight business. And b3 here. Trying to avoid losing all the pawns. B takes, d takes. Looks solid enough for a moment. King h1, bishop h6 without any tricks on f3. Or bishop g5. Okay, bishop g5. Or bishop h6. Bishop h6 looks very tempting. Just to get rid of the dark square guardian around these squares. Right, take this guy off. Establish a knight on e4 or f takes. F takes gives me scope for the bishop. Right, so knight e4. I've got a target on f6. If f5, knight g5, maybe. The knights are impressive for black, though. Maybe rook g1. Then if bishop f1, there's knight f3. That's not very nice. So my king's being targeted. There's knight g4 as well. Okay. Let's get out. Oh, bishop f1. That's knight f3. h3. Ah! Don't like the look of that all of a sudden. Hang on, what have I done? Queen f4 to stop knight g4. That might be sensible, because I'm also hitting f6. I think knight g4 was threatened. So if queen d7, knight f6, maybe. Do I still get to play? Alright, is there knight g3 here for a moment, just to swap the bishop for the knight there? Play bishop e4 would defend h2 as well. So defending h2, defending g4. Is that f5? Have a quick look at this queen sack. Queen f7. Yeah, I think that's sound. If that happened. Now rook g1 here. Is there something like rook g1 is useful, isn't it? Alright, can I undermine these knights? These knights are all pretty good. Or not. No, I don't think it's too late to undermine the knights. Okay. Outside pass pawn. With a4, try and get an outside pass pawn. As a distraction. f5, if I double. Alright, there's knight g4 incoming, is there? Alright, there's queen d2 to hold h2 a bit longer, I hope. f5. Is there knight takes f5 here for rook takes g4? I hope there has to be. And knight takes, rook takes. There's no knight g3. Knight h2, rook h2 is possible. So rook takes. Right, so I can take that, and a rook takes g5. I was going to get mated with rook h2 anyway. So rook takes g5 gives rook g8 as a possibility. He's potentially threatening rook h2 and rook h3. I've still got rook g8 to take over here. So I think rook takes. Try this. Alright, well that's interesting. I was expecting something else there. I was expecting rook h2. Okay, let's have a quick look at that. Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake there. So here, if rook takes here, there's rook g8 and takes. I've got this pawn there. I'm just a rook up to take it here. I've been put on the defensive in this game. So if I didn't have knight takes, I think I'd be doomed here. Yeah, knight takes. Let's have a quick look with the engine for a moment. Knight takes. Alright, so black had to play this. Queen takes g5. Alright, no, I wouldn't have seen this. So the here, I suppose this. Great, it gets all messy, yeah. Okay, yeah, good one. Okay, yeah. Hope you enjoyed this week. Yeah, 1 fun, 10 boring. Have a good rest of the Sunday. See you next week. Thanks very much.